Hello, everyone. My name is Talal, and welcome to Popcorn and Soda, the show where we discuss all things movies, pop culture, and so much more. I want to thank each and every one of you for making me a small part of your day. Welcome to the TIFF series. As you guys know, I've been breaking down all my favorite movies that I watched at this year's Toronto International Film Festival. Movies I loved, movies that didn't click with me, and movies that should be on your radar. So, what's next? The Critic. Directed by Mr. Anand Tucker, starring Ian McKellen, Gemma Arterton, Mark Strong, Ben Barnes, Alfred Enoch. This cast is stacked. So, before I begin my thoughts about The Critic, I do believe I have to add this little disclaimer on there because I think it did. Well, I don't think. I know it impacted my viewing of the film, and I think maybe that is why I may have certain views of this film because of the situation that I was in when I went to go watch this. So, let's rewind the clock a little. I had, as a member of the press, multiple screenings the day that The Critic was having its first showing. And I was lucky enough to get a ticket to the public screening as well. And so that day was like 4 movies in a row that I watched in the same theater, which is Scotiabank Theater, and then they had different cinema halls within it. So I was going from one to another to another to another, and 4 has been the most movies I've ever watched in a movie theater in one given day. So movie ends at 4 for my previous screening, and then the movie starts at right at 4, The Critic. So it was like boom, ending here, bam, running to the next cinema and grabbing my seat. So the ignorant person that I am, as a first-time member of the press at TIFF this year, it was still like, I was still trying to get to know everything in terms of, all right, this is how I plan it. I'll go here. But little did I know, my planning did have a few hiccups in there. So I finished my screening of Sleep, and then I go run to the next theater, running in. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll run in. I thought it would be almost like one of our press screenings where you can kind of just walk in, find a seat, boom. I walk right in. It's one of the biggest theaters in Scotiabank Theater. And I walk right in, boom. Number one, I can hear the director talking inside, which is never a good sign because the movie's already begun in regards to the festivities of it. And I love to be a part of the full festivities. I'm like, all right, just hush hush, go get a seat. I go in, I look up, try to see if I can find a single seat. Every single seat in that entire theater is taken. And that was my first experience as a member of the press going to a public screening. And just my ignorance, thinking I can just walk right in and get any seat based on my ticket and then, we're good to go. But hey, that's what I love about film festivals. People line up hours and hours ahead to get their seats, and I love that. So what did I do? Literally, the only seat available was the very front row of the theater. Yes, the front row of the biggest theater in all of Scotiabank Theater. So, one thing I'll say at the end of the movie, my neck felt like it was just like, yeah. I legit had to be tilted back the whole time, like sinking into my seat, trying to actually get it. So, long story short, my viewing was largely affected by the fact that, number one, this is my 4th film of the day, where my brain was definitely, starting to get a little woozy. And number 2, the seat that I had definitely prevented from me to having the best experience of this movie. Regardless, I will give you my thoughts on the movie. So, what did I think of The Critic? I'll say this, the acting was superb, top-notch acting. When you have a cast like I mentioned, you're in for at least an actor's movie where everyone's going to be at the top of their game. And Ian McKellen, excuse my ignorance, Sir Ian McKellen, Gemma Arterton, Ben Barnes, Mark Strong, Alfred Enoch. It's a supporting cast. Killed it in this movie. The movie is about old time, this like heavily praised film critic, Ian McKellen, who he plays, and the film is largely told from the lens of his character. And it's about this guy who's been working for this newspaper who's having a shift regime. And he's one of those hard ass critics who are kind of like a Gordon Ramsay, where he just kind of shreds people and like tells them that they were no good actors, this and that. And that's his shtick. That he is this guy who's fallen in love with the fame that comes with being this renowned film critic, and he uses that to his advantage. And as the movie progresses, you find out that he has inspired so many different actors and actresses that wanted to be stage drama actors and actresses, pretty much. And again, this is set like in the early 1900s, so this is definitely a period piece. So that right there, again, if you're into those, you'll love it. If you're not, right there, that's a barrier you will have to get over. So it's definitely a period piece. And it's in the world of, high-end drama, theaters, and, the cost of what it takes to be an actor or an actress, the importance of reviews, opening nights, all of that. And Gemma Arterton's character, who plays the main lead, she was largely inspired by Sir Ian McKellen's character and wants to win him over and get a good review from him because she grew up reading his reviews. As the movie goes along, you start to realize that the Ian McKellen character is actually a prick and he's not a good person, and he's using his power and he's trying to use his stature to manipulate people at the newspaper, actors, actresses. He's trying to pretty much keep his spot. He knows he's an old-timer. There's a new regime coming in and they want something different. They don't want the negativity that he brings, but that is how he made his name. So the movie takes a lot of like twists and turns and things I didn't see coming. And for better or for worse, to be honest with you, because at some points in the movie, I found that the pacing of it wasn't there. It was just a very, very just like, oh, there's a peak, there's a drop. It wasn't building to me. And just the character of Ian McKellen, you start to root against him because he's trying to manipulate so many different people. And it was just like, okay, this guy is actually a bad guy, and you actually low-key hope that he gets his. And you know me, no spoilers, but wow, that ending. I did not see that coming, and I think that was something that kind of took me out of it. It really did. But it also goes back to the story about morality and what it means to have power and control, and more so what it means to be a creative artist, because in the world we live in, rejection, fear of failure, all those things as creatives, it's a real thing. It truly is. And it comes in a full circle, this movie. So you guys know me. I don't give out star ratings. I don't give out numbers as reviews. But to me, it's always, is this a movie theater worthy movie? Should you watch this at home as a streaming? Or is this kind of like a rainy day movie where you're kind of flipping through the channels and you land on it? Personally, and again, mind you, what I mentioned at the very top, this is not a movie theater movie because it's a very slow-paced movie. It's a very slow-paced movie, so it's not going to be for everyone. I think this falls right in between a streaming movie and almost, I would say, a rainy day, because it didn't click for me, and it just wasn't for me. But again, hey, it may not have been for me. You may absolutely love it. So if you're a fan of great acting, and if you're a fan of that period piece era in England, and if you're into theater, if you're into dramas, those kinds of things, I think this is worth checking out. I truly do. I don't think by any means this is a miss. It was a miss for me personally. But again, those are just my thoughts. And hey, if you had a chance to watch The Critic, please, I want to know your thoughts on the movie. Like, just comment below here. Share what you felt about the movie. So, a movie reference that I also like to wrap up with. What is a movie that if you enjoyed that, you would enjoy this? I would say a film like Darkest Hour, which won Gary Oldman his Oscar for, playing Winston Churchill. If it's a very like mellow, like period piece drama that kind of just focuses on the life of one individual person. So if you were into Darkest Hour, I think you would like a movie like this. But hey, those are just my thoughts. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you making me a small part of your day. And that was my review of The Critic.